Today we'll be covering questions from motorizzazione directly. In segnale raffigurato, posto in presenza di un salvagente, obbliga il conducente a passare destra. The question says, if this sign is placed close to salvagente, it tells the driver to pass right. The answer to this question here is vero, because this is a sign of passaggio obbligatorio a destra, which tells you need to pass right to overcome an ostacolo. In presenza del segnale raffigurato si può percorrere la strettoia accettandosi di aver avuto la precedenza dai veicoli provenienti di fronte. The question says, in the presence of this sign, you can pass, knowing fully well that the vehicles coming from the opposite side will give you precedenza. The answer to this question here is vero, because this is diritto di precedenza negli sensi unici alternati, normally placed on a tight road that allows only passage of one vehicle, which means one needs to wait for the other vehicle to pass. So if you're driving and you come across this one in your front, then the vehicle coming from the opposite direction needs to wait for you to pass. So the question is letting you know, if you see this sign and you are driving close to a tight corner, you can pass, knowing fully well that the vehicle coming from the opposite direction will wait for you to pass. So the answer to this question here is vero. Il segnale raffigurato indica passaggio obbligatorio a destra. The answer to this question here is vero. Remember, this is a sign of passaggio obbligatorio a destra, which means this sign is telling the vehicles to only pass right. You only come across this sign on the road if there is salvagente, isola di traffico, people are walking on one side of the road, or maybe there's an obstacle on the road. So they'll place this sign that directs you on how you will be able to pass that road without creating danger for other vehicles on the road. Il segnale raffigurato deve essere integrato con il segnale di limite di velocità. The question says this sign must be attached to a speed limit, which is falso. Remember, there's difference between può and deve. Deve mean must, while può mean can. So if you read the question or you come across a question like this that carry deve essere, means falso, because they are only letting us know this sign must be attached to a speed limit. But if you are reading the question, that the question is like, il segnale raffigurato può essere integrato con il segnale di limite di velocità, then the answer will be vero. That one is letting you know can be attached to a speed limit. So the answer to this one here is falso. Il segnale raffigurato vieta in transito anche agli autobus di massa a pieno carico inferiore a 3,5 tonnellate. The question says, this sign also prohibits the passage of autobus carrying load not higher than 3.5 tons, which is vero. This is a sign of divieto di autobus, so it prohibits all autobus. Il segnale raffigurato con pannello integrativo indica la distanza a cui si trova un'officina per montare le catene. The question said this sign refers to the distance on how you can get to the office where they can fix catene or your tires, which is falso. This is a sign of catene obbligatorio, letting you know that for you to pass that part of the road, you need to either have catene or your tire or gomma invernale, which is the winter tires. In presenza del segnale raffigurato, occorre prestare particolare attenzione per la possibile presenza di bambini. The question is letting you know that if you come across this sign, you need to pay more attention because you can come across children on that part of the road. The answer to this question here is vero, because this is a sign placed close to school, close to giardini, or close to that part of the road where you are likely to come across children. Il segnale raffigurato preannuncia che non è consentito proseguire diritto. The question says this sign is telling you that it's not advisable to go straight. The answer to this question here is vero. This is a sign of preavviso di svoltare a sinistra, letting you know that at that junction the only direction you can go is left. Il segnale raffigurato è un segnale di prescrizione. The question says, this is a sign of prescrizione. The answer to this question is falso. This is a sign of pericolo. Pericolo sign and dangerous sign, which tells you that there will be danger on the road, so you need to pay attention. In this case, this sign is letting you know there will be strettoia simmetrica, which means both sides of the road will be tight, then you need to drive with caution. Il segnale raffigurato obbliga a rispettare un limite massimo di velocità. The question said this sign tells you the maximum speed limit you need to respect on that road, which is vero, because this is a sign of limite massimo di velocità, letting you know that if you're driving and you come across this sign, you can't drive higher than 80. You can go lower than 80, you can drive 60, 70, 50, 40, but you can't drive higher than 80 km/h. Il segnale raffigurato indica l'incrocio con una linea tranviaria. The answer to this question here is falso, because this sign here is attraversamento ferroviario a livello senza barriere, which is a train track without barrier. Il segnale raffigurato comporta la presenza di segnale dare precedenza sulla strada di immissione laterale. The question says the presence of this sign, there is a sign of dare precedenza on the road entering the main road, which is on the corsia di accelerazione. Vero. Remember, this is confluenza da sinistra, letting you know that there will be road entering the main road from the left. But those vehicles entering the main road from the left, there will be a sign of dare precedenza telling them that to give precedenza to the vehicle on the main road. So they need to slow down, watch out, to be sure that the road is free before they enter the road. In presenza del segnale raffigurato non occorre fermarsi all'incrocio se rallentando, se hai modo di vedere che non vi sono veicoli in arrivo, sia da destra che da sinistra. The question says, in the presence of this sign, you don't really need to stop at that junction if you slow down and there's a way you can see the both sides if there's no vehicle coming. The answer to this question here is vero, because this is a sign of dare precedenza. This sign only tells you to slow down, watch the both sides, be sure there's nothing coming before you continue. But if there are vehicles coming from either left or right, you need to stop, wait for them to pass before you continue. In presenza del segnale raffigurato e da semaforo a 3 luci, abbiamo la precedenza se il semaforo è a luce verde, ma l'agente di traffico ci ordina di fermarsi. The question says, in the presence of this sign and the traffic light is on green, we have right to pass even though there is a traffic agent telling us to stop. The answer to this question is falso. Remember, this sign is a sign of dare precedenza nelle sensi unici alternati, which means we need to wait for the vehicles coming from the opposite side to pass before we pass. But if the traffic light is on green, it means we need to pass. Mind you, that can only function if there is no traffic agent on that junction. So in this case, the question says, even though the traffic agent is telling us to stop, which is false. Remember, anytime there is traffic agent on the road, the signs are no longer valid because the traffic agent controls the road. So if the traffic light is on green and the traffic agent tells us to wait, we need to wait. If the traffic light is on red and the traffic agent tells us to pass, we need to pass. Because at that particular time, they control the junction. They tell us if we should pass or if we should wait. Il segnale raffigurato indica la fine di doppio senso di circolazione. The question says this sign indicates the end of doppio senso di circolazione. The answer to this question here is falso. Remember, doppio senso di circolazione means two-way drive. You will be going to a certain direction and there will be vehicles coming from the opposite direction. But this is a sign of obbligo, telling you the only direction you need to go is straight. It's not referring to doppio senso di circolazione, and this sign is not referring to senso unico. If you're driving and you come across this sign, it only tells you that the direction you need to go at that point is straight. Il segnale raffigurato è posto di norma 150 metri prima dell'incrocio. The question says this sign is placed 150 meters before the junction. The answer to this question here is falso. This is a sign of fermarsi e dare precedenza, which tells you at that point you need to stop, watch the both sides to be sure there's nothing coming before you continue. Il segnale raffigurato preannuncia un dorso. The question said this sign is referring to dorso. Remember, dorso means an ascent followed by a descent, which is falso. This is a sign of strada deformata, telling you that part of the road there will be potholes and the road is in a bad condition. You should drive with caution. Il segnale raffigurato indica che la strada che si incrocia è a senso unico verso sinistra. The question says, if you get to the junction, the road going to the left direction is senso unico. The answer to this question here is falso, because this is a sign of direzione obbligatoria a sinistra, letting you know that at that junction, the only direction you need to go is left. This sign is not referring to senso unico. This is a sign of obbligo. But if by any chance you are driving and you come across this sign here, this one is referring to senso unico, letting you know that if you turn to this direction, the road will be senso unico. Pay attention to the two signs. You see, this one is obbligo sign with the circular form, while this other sign is rectangular form. In presenza del segnale raffigurato è vietata la marcia sopra i binari del tram. The question said, in the presence of this sign, it is prohibited to pass on top of the tram track, which is falso. This sign is only letting you know you should drive with caution because there might be tram coming from that part of the road. I hope you like the video, but if there is anything you don't understand, let me know that this video. And I'll see you guys in the other side. Bye bye.